Okay, we're recording everybody in their best behavior. So settle in, take care to ensure that your spine is straight and relaxed. Our hands can be resting in our laps. We are facing straight ahead with our head tilted slightly forward. And this serves to bring our spine perfectly into alignment. Our mouth is closed, our jaw is relaxed. And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and softly close your eyes. I'd like you now to please bring your awareness to your breath. And very gently allow your exhalation to be just a bit longer and a bit more pronounced than your inhalation. Please feel free to experiment with pausing briefly at the bottom of each exhalation. This meditation technique will allow both your physical body and your mind to start to settle and rest, to become quiet and still. Now is not the time to reflect on events that have occurred in the past. Those events cannot be changed, undone, or relived. Nor is this the time to speculate about events that may or may not occur in the future. The future is completely uncertain. Now is the time to be fully present here in this moment. Now is the time to give yourself permission to enjoy engaging in a practice that's going to bring you a peaceful state of mind, and at the same time contribute to the creation of a peaceful world. And with that, I'd like you to please bring your awareness to the crown of your head, to your scalp in particular. And I'd like you to allow at once all of the tiny muscles and nerves that support your scalp to become loose and completely relaxed. The tiny muscles and nerves at the top of your scalp and the back of your scalp and the sides of your scalp. Just allow these tiny muscles and nerves to at once release and become loose and deeply, deeply relaxed. Please allow the tiny muscles and nerves across your forehead, the tiny muscles that support your eyebrows, and all of the muscles in your face to become soft and completely relaxed. Your facial muscles become so soft and relaxed that it might feel as though the pores of your skin are opening up now. your mind starts to relax as your body is starting to relax. And for the remainder of our meditation this evening, I would invite you to bring your awareness not only to the words that you hear, but also to the silent gaps in between the words and in between the sentences. In particular, please allow the muscles that support your jaw to become soft and relaxed. Just allow any tension that you might be carrying in your jaw to dissipate, to drain away, to dissolve into empty space, to dissolve into a space like emptiness. Your jaw starts to feel a bit heavier now, and it takes a gentle and deliberate effort to keep your jaw from dropping open. Please allow the muscles in your neck and your throat to become soft and relaxed, as well as the muscles in your shoulders. Allow your shoulders to settle and to rest, to become soft and relaxed. And as your shoulders settle and rest, they may start to feel a bit heavier now. And this causes them to drop down into a natural, comfortable position. There's a subtle lengthening of your neck and a subtle lengthening of your spine. Please allow the muscles in your arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, and fingers to each become completely soft and completely relaxed. And your hands now might feel a bit warmer and heavier as they rest in your lap. And your mind relaxes as your body relaxes. The muscles in your chest become soft and relaxed. And your lungs are now able to perform perfectly and without effort their natural function of breathing. The muscles in your abdomen, and likewise all of the muscles in your back, all of the muscles that support your shoulder blades and your spine. Please allow these muscle sets to settle and to rest, to become soft and relaxed as you drop deeper and deeper on down. And let yourself go. Please allow your internal organs to rest and relax. Your kidneys and your liver and your stomach. Allow your stomach in particular to become soft and relaxed. Oftentimes we carry tension and tightness in the region of our stomachs. Please just release any and all forms of tension now. Just let go. Allow any tension and tightness to just drain away, to dissipate completely, and let go. Your stomach is more relaxed than it's been now in a very long time. More relaxed than it's been perhaps than at any point in your entire life. The muscles in your hips and your pelvic area become soft and relaxed, as well as the muscles in your legs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. One by one, these muscle sets become completely soft and completely relaxed. The soles of your feet, even the muscles and nerves in the soles of your feet, even the tiny muscles and nerves at the tips of your toes release now and become soft and relaxed. Your body is both centered and settled. You're in a state of perfect physical equilibrium. Your mind relaxes completely now as your body is completely relaxed. And let yourself go. We can now engage in the meditation on the inner body. To accomplish this, please draw your awareness inside of your body and become aware of sensations. These sensations may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just be the silent observer of these sensations and allow an even more tranquil, supple, non-conceptual state of awareness to emerge. The natural tendency of these sensations is for them to travel up into your arms and your legs, perhaps into the region of your chest, perhaps into your face and your cheeks. To support you and perhaps even inspire you in your meditation, you may find it beneficial to bring to mind the image of a mountain. The mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable. Because the mountain has consciousness, you can know that all it does, day after day, year after year, is observe silently. Rain may fall on the mountain or not. The wind may blow, the sun may shine. Leaves may appear on the branches of trees, change color, and then fall to the ground. The mountain simply observes silently. No judgment, no labeling, no comparing, no speculation. Be like a mountain. Be like a mountain with ancient wisdom consciousness as you silently observe sensations within your own body mountain. Now very gently, very, very gently, please redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. The ceiling above you, the floor beneath your feet, furnishings and so forth. Allow your awareness to extend outside of this room. Become aware again of nearby mountains, of nearby countries, of nearby continents, of nearby planets. And you can know, of course, that you are not these phenomena, nor are you separate from these phenomena. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you all very much. So I don't remember the first of all, show of hands, who here has ever heard of the Ganges Mahamudra? Scott, Peter, okay, good. So it's a relatively new text for most of the people here. Although I talk about the Ganges Mahamudra being the most important spiritual document I've ever read, which means the most important thing I've ever read, period, of all readings, I don't remember where exactly, how exactly I came across it. You know, it's like monumental events in our life. Oh, I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing. I can't remember where I came across the Ganges Mahamudra. I'm just really glad that I did, because it's a little bit of a testimonial coming here, not because I want to bore you guys with my life story, but just to try and provide some context as to why this text is so important to me and why it resonated with me so much. I was trained in a school of Buddhist meditation that was very academic. It's very academic and a great respect and great appreciation for this tradition of Buddhism. And by the way, let me just kind of parenthetically say, the Ganges Mahamudra is regarded as a Buddhist text, and I think that its ideas and its suggestions can be applied to any life situation, any spiritual path, any religion. I've talked with my dad, my dad, rest his soul, who was a very devout Christian. And I would share with him ideas about the Ganges Mahamudra, and he loved it. He loved it and felt like it really deepened his relationship with Christ and the teachings of Christ. So although I always like to, when I'm talking about something that is regarded as Buddhist specific thought or a text, I like to acknowledge that in the name of transparency, and it's broadly applicable to everything we do and everything we touch. So anyway, in this academic tradition of Buddhism, and was going along, and I'd been at it, I don't know, with this tradition in this particular school, I don't know, 8 or 9 years maybe, and kind of realized that I wasn't making much progress in my practice of training the mind. How does one measure the practice of, or the progress of one's practice in training the mind? By how I was doing with delusions during my daily life, during everyday life. To what degree were people pushing my buttons? To what degree was I experiencing uncontrolled desires, you know, and attachments? To what degree was I feeling apathetic? So although I was learning a lot of Dharma, I didn't really feel like that was translating into my life being happier and me being a better person, me being a more patiently accepting person, me being a person who was free of desirous attachment. I just didn't feel, an expression I used oftentimes is I don't feel like I was getting a lot of traction. And then somewhere along the way, the Ganges Mahamudra comes along and just like revitalized and revolutionized everything with regard to my Dharma practice and my meditation practice. And I started to get some traction in all of these heretofore academic understandings of the different parts of the Dharma. And a fundamental kind of difference in the approaches to the Dharmas is, and for those of you who are interested, the school that I was trained in initially was the Kadampa Gelugpa school, the Tibetan tradition, and the Ganges Mahamudra comes from another Tibetan school called the Kagyu tradition. And the Kagyus kind of say, don't think so much, don't think so much. You can only make so much progress with conceptual understandings of the Dharma. You can only make so much progress in conceptual understandings of anything. What really matters, what really brings about existential change is an experience of the Dharma. And that's really, at some fundamental level, that's really what the Ganges Mahamudra is all about. It's about bringing ourselves to where we can experience directly, without the filter of conceptual thought, some of these Dharma practices that we have been learning and hearing about for a long time. Patient acceptance, compassion, wisdom, humility. Did I say patient acceptance? Mm-hmm. Patient acceptance, non-attachment, wisdom realizing impermanence, wisdom realizing emptiness. You see, before I met the Ganges Mahamudra, I could go on and on telling you the definitions of all of these different states of mind and the practices for achieving them, but actually integrating them into my heart and living them and becoming a better person and benefiting those around me as a result. If I were really honest, I didn't feel like I had made much progress in the previous school. Probably user error. I want to like offer that disclaimer. It's probably not a problem with the tradition or the teachings, but just my application of them. Whatever, my karma was that I really connected with the Ganges Mahamudra. Ganges Mahamudra, the word Mahamudra has two parts. Maha, great. Mahamudra, mudra, in this context, seal, like a seal of authenticity or a seal of reliability. Mahamudra, great seal. And the Ganges Mahamudra was a teaching that was given by the 11th century yogi named Tilopa to his student Naropa on the banks of the river Ganges, hence the Ganges Mahamudra from the 11th century. So I want to share a little bit about Tilopa, because it's good to know. One other thing about the difference between and this might be too much information, it might be too granular, but the stories about the Kagyu yogis are really interesting, I think. They're really interesting, and there are a lot of characters in the Kagyu lineage, and they're kind of out there. Let's just say out there. Milarepa is associated with the Kagyu lineage, and Gampopa and Marpa if these names mean anything to you, they're very colorful characters and have really interesting stories about their life, as opposed to the Kadampa school that I was initially trained in, which is kind of the stories are all the same. They ordained at a very young age. They went into the monasteries. They learned all the practices. They meditated all the time, and then they had realizations. A little bit of a more varied stories for the Kagyus, including Naropa. So Naropa, the story begins with him and his modest beginnings. He was a cow herder as a boy. He was like, his job was to look over cows. And he was completely contented with his life, just like watching cows. He was from I think maybe a less privileged caste. He was born in India and raised in India, spent his whole life in India for that matter. Through a miraculous series of events, still as a boy, he became king of an empire within India. Back in the 11th century, royalty was kind of was a thing. And through a series of events, as a boy, he became the king of a kingdom. And he did a really darn good job at it. The people of this king, loved him. His subjects, I guess you'd call them, really loved him and were pleased with the job he was doing, even though he was a very young boy, and then he kind of grew up and became an adolescent and a young man, and kind of realized along the way that he wanted to do more with his life than rule over a bunch of people and have an enormous amount of wealth and have everybody do what he asked them to do, and I guess live the life of a king. So he renounced it and left it all. Left it, ordained as a monk, took the robes of a monk, shaved off all of his hair, and spent the next several years going around India receiving teachings and learning how to do different meditation practices. Okay. I'm giving you the very abbreviated version of the story. Okay. So he goes along and he had become very realized in his own respect. He had become a great scholar, very realized, a very accomplished yogi with the highest of high realizations. And he still felt like he needed to deepen his experience of the teachings rather than be content with an academic understanding, a conceptual understanding of the teachings. So he came across his main teacher, who ended up being his main guru, a guy named Matangi. And his time with Matangi wasn't a lot, but Matangi said to Tilopa, he said, here's what I want you to do. He said, there is a community in the province of Bengal, India, and in this province, there is a prostitute there whose name is Dharima. Dharima, Dharmira, Dharima. And Dharma, Dharima, probably no coincidence. And he said, here's your job. He said, I want you to go and I want you to be a servant at night to the prostitute Dharima. And during the day, I want you to grind sesame seeds to extract sesame oil. Every day, this is your job with mortar and pestle, right? Mortar and pestle. Grind sesame seeds to extract sesame oil from the seeds. And that's your day job. And your night job is to be of service to Dharima. Okay, off I go. You're the boss. So here I go. I'm going to read to you from the book, The Life of Tilopa and the Ganges Mahamudra. This is my second copy of the book, by the way. The first one was so worn out. The cover was coming off. Even I had a cover, like a cloth cover of the cover of the book, and they were both worn out because I have gone through it so many times. So the story picks up. So Tilopa went to Bengal in eastern India and did exactly as his guru Matangi told him. During the day, he pounded sesame seeds to extract the oil, and at night, he was a servant to the prostitute Darima. All the time he was engaged in this behavior outwardly, his mind was completely absorbed in the samadhi of perfect suchness. Samadhi being kind of meaning meditative equipoise, just totally focused, perfect mindfulness, and perfect suchness, just abiding in a state of such, just unfiltered consciousness, I think is a good way of putting it. By doing this practice for 12 years grinding sesame seeds with mortar and pestle, by doing this practice for 12 years, Tilopa accomplished enlightenment. After this, he was seen by some people around him in different marvelous ways. Some saw him flying through the sky like a blazing ball of fire surrounded by 14 butter lamps. Some saw him in the midst of brilliance, sitting as a yogi surrounded by various attendants who were circumambulating him and making prostrations to him. Others saw him sitting as a monk, absorbed in samadhi, in the midst of brilliance. When people began to see these things, they started telling Darima that something had happened to Tilopa. Darima was really shocked at hearing this, and when she went out to see for herself, she saw Tilopa in the sky before her, radiant and brilliant. In his right hand, he was holding the mortar and pestle for grinding sesame seeds. Darima was upset and confessed to Tilopa that she had no idea he was such a holy person, and felt very sorry that she had ordered him around as a prostitute servant for all those years. What a surprise that would be. She then offered him her deep confession, and Tilopa responded, "You are not at fault. You didn't know I was a Mahasiddha." Mahasiddha, there again, is Maha, great. Siddha means realization, so a one of great realization, Mahasiddha. You didn't know I was a Mahasiddha. Actually, I have attained all my realizations because of you. I needed to work as your servant to become enlightened. There has been no harm done. And every time I read that paragraph, I've read it 100 times, I still get a little bit teary about it. It's so beautiful, that humility, that humility. So, like I say, kind of a colorful story, as which a lot of the Kagyu, the old Kagyu stories are. You know, just in this story, I think there are a couple of really important takeaways. One is, I mentioned humility. You know, just the beauty of humility. This super realized, just on the doorstep of enlightenment, having the humility to do the jobs that he did for 12 years and be so gracious to the person who was his boss for those 12 years, ordering him around. No, I needed you. It's because of you that I had these realizations. And one of the other takeaways for me from the story of Tilopa is that we can never be sure about the true identity of those around us. You know, we like to think, you know, what you see is what you get. I know this person. I know what there is to know about it, whether it's romantic partners, whether it is co-workers, whether it's friends, whatever it might be. You know, my friend George Farmer is fond of saying, behind every person you meet, there's an untold story. So here's the untold story of Tilopa. And who knows how many Tilopa types are out there in our midst, in our daily lives, demonstrating humility, demonstrating even subservience, not making any representations about their realizations, yet internally they're very, very special. My main teacher is fond of saying that the root of all suffering is ordinary appearance. Ordinary appearance is the root of all suffering. Like having an ordinary appearance of the people around us and the situations and everything around. Kind of ordinary appearance for me is what you see is what you get. It's fun, I think, and beneficial for us to maybe entertain the idea. Here's someone who appears to be ordinary. There might be something there, something more there. There's probably something more there. What if this person is a Mahasiddha, who is perfectly absorbed in samadhi? They may actually be ordinary. What you see is what you get. They may be highly realized and very modest. I can't tell you for sure which they are, but I can tell you what is the most beneficial view for us to adopt, Maybe there's more there. It's fun. It brings excitement to life and intrigue. And yeah, so we're going to, we'll get into the kind of the meat of the Ganges Mahamudra in our 5 remaining classes, but I wanted to introduce you to Tilopa, his student Naropa. And any questions from anybody? We're right at time already, but if there are any comments or any questions anybody would like to make about the story of Tilopa or anything, please feel free to ask or share. And you Zoomers too, please feel free to. Just make a little announcement before we break. On April 15th, there is going to be a Swami coming to Lotus Center to give a public talk. This is a group that has been, the Swami Purnat Mananda from Albuquerque, an Indian guy, an Indian yogi, who is going to be doing a weekend initiation into Kriya Yoga meditation. That's going to be Saturday and Sunday, April 16th and 17th. But the Friday evening before, he's going to do a public talk, an introductory public talk here from 7 to 8. So April 15th, that date might resonate with you because your taxes are due on that day. That might be how you remember. And yeah, no charge. If you're in the neighborhood and you're interested in come and listen to Swami Purnat Mananda. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So mark your calendars. Thank you for being here and have a lovely evening. I hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, you're welcome.
Prepare glasses.